Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone's doing well today. Hope you guys had a great week or having a great week. It's been a while. I'm trying to get back on track here with these videos here. Um, I took a little break last week. Um, I had to take care of some things. Life outside the language learning world. But yeah, this video, as you can see, this will be my second video answering questions. So basically, what I've done is went to the other video, that first video I made, and took more questions from there. If you haven't seen the first part of the first video where I answer questions, I will link you to that video in the description area. Hopefully, my daughters will be quiet here while I make this video. Um, but yeah, this is basically the same video with other questions. So that video had a whole bunch of questions. There's actually still questions that I haven't even chose. But this is it. I'm not going to do any more from that video. So I'll make a separate one probably next week. But anyway, let's get to it. So the first question here by Anthony Gavazzi. Sorry, I think it's Anthony Gavazzi. It looks. I was about to say Swedish. It looks Italian to me. Gavazzi. This was one month ago. So he asked me, which languages in total have you studied? Which are you best at? So I had to actually make a list. Man, these girls. Okay, I had to make a list. Uh, okay, so basically, I had to make a list of the languages that I've studied. Now, there's probably languages um, that not on this list that I've at least touched or dabbled in, but these are the languages that I can remember um, at least touching or studying. So this is my list. It's not in any particular order. So I'll scroll down here, let you guys check out these languages. Go there. Righty. Okay, you guys saw all those. Or I could just scroll down here like this. So, like I said, there's no particular order in which these languages are listed in. Uh, So that's about 53 languages, something like that. Well, if you want to include English, that's 54, but I never include English in lists like these. Like I said, there's probably other languages that I've studied or dabbled with, but that aren't on this list. But this is give you a general idea of what I've studied and whatnot. So those stars, what do those stars mean? Basically, you see languages without stars and with stars. First of all, the languages without stars are the languages that I can. One second, airplane and kids at the same time. What a combination, right? Okay, so basically, the languages without stars are the languages I can I at least know very basic, like very maybe not very basic, but like at least a couple words, couple phrases here and there. I can't really put um, like sentences together yet in those languages. Those are the languages without stars, as you can see. Now I used some of these languages I used to, but forgot. Like for example, Czech. I mean, I haven't even practiced Czech for like 2 years, and I like pretty much forgot everything. At the time I studied the language for what 6 months, and that was about it. And I left it alone. I didn't have much contact with native speakers. Otherwise, I would still remember the language. Um, what other languages here? So yeah, that's what the languages without stars are. Okay. Now, okay. Now, the languages with at least one star are the languages that I can at least have. I can now not just phrases, but I could put some sentences together. So it's like basic, really, really, really at least have a really, really basic conversation. That's what those are. The language with two stars, I know just a bit more. I know more than just like really, really basic conversation. Is above from the one star. One star, you got like some like sentences here and there, but then there's a cutoff point. But with these other languages, I can pretty much flow in them, um, making consistent sentences and whatnot. So those are the language with the two stars. So basically, the languages with the two stars are my best languages, I would say. Okay. Um, what language that I'm more fluent in? I know someone's going to ask me that. I would say Mandarin, Japanese, Cantonese. I want to say Korean. Little more work with that. But those, yeah, I'll just say Mandarin, Japanese, Cantonese. Those are my most fluent languages, I would say, or I would say more comfortable, my most comfort, um, comfortable languages. So yeah, yeah, so that's my list there, and I hope I answered your question thoroughly. So these are the languages that I've either dabbled in or studied. What else? All right, so Bobby Bob, 1 month ago. Do you still get awkward in some level ups? Yes, I do. It depends though. Sometimes it feels very awkward, and then I'll hesitate to approach this person. Like I said, it rarely happens, but yeah, there's still incidences where I get a bit awkward um, trying to level up with someone. But yeah, in general, no, I'm comfortable with it. I'm used to it. I've been doing it for a long time, so it's second nature. Um, what is this? The Hodgeable 1 month ago. How do you feel about the aspect of the journey of a language learner? When I first began to learn languages, everything was new and took so much energy from my mind to remember new words and learn new grammar patterns. Same here, man. Learning a language, it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. But it's worth that time and energy because because when you're learning a new language, you're learning more about your own language. Um, you're taking on a You're learning sorry guys, I'm kind of it's kind of throwing me off here, girls. Um you learn more about your own language and you learn this other language, learn about the people, becoming more open-minded from learning about these people's culture. Um the energy part is just like because if it's a language that's very, very different from your own, it takes a lot of energy and effort to try to become accustomed to the patterns of the language. If it's like, for example, my native language is English, which is um, what is it? Um, sub subject, verb, object. Um, if I learn a language that's SVO, um, oh sorry, SOV, it's going to be very difficult because the structure is totally different. It's going to take a lot of time um, until I become accustomed to it. So this is very difficult when learning that language at the beginning stages. Now, I would say for me, uh, as I have experience learning SOV languages, it's not really a huge problem. Like I have the experience, I know how SOV languages work. So when I learn another SOV language, it's not really a huge obstacle for me. But I still have to spend that time in order to learn that language. So yeah, I think this beautiful learning another language, and there are so many incentives of learning a language as the ones I listed. So now I'm beginning to see myself. Oh, this part of the same. Oh, oh, I'm sorry. That's your. Oh, wow. Now I'm beginning to see myself be able to pick up a new language much quicker. For instance, when I hear a basic phrase, I can now immediately go to a speaker of the language and use it. Originally, learning thank you, hello, how are you doing, etc., would take a week by themselves. Yeah, this should have been part of your yeah, same guy. Yeah, I totally agree. When you learn, it gets easier. I mean, you still got to put that time in to learn language, but you're going to notice that after you learn several different languages, things are going to be picked up quicker, a lot quicker than they were when you first started learning your first language. A lot quicker. That's what I noticed. So I know a lot of people used to say. I remember people say, "Hey, does it get easier when after learning so many languages? Yeah, is it does it take so much effort? It really does get easy, but again, you still have to put that time in and work hard in order to come to the state of being able to speak that language well. Uh, let's see, kids, YouTube kids vids 1 month ago. I'm trying to, my mind is kind of like I'm listening to them and I'm trying to stay focused. But this is pretty much the best time for me to make the video. Normally they take naps, but they nap time is over for them. All right. So, what are the core base languages you can learn to increase your chances of learning any language? For example, are some languages simply derivatives of other languages, such that learning the base language allows you to learn all the language derived from it, i.e., learn Cantonese, then Mandarin and Japanese, Korean, etc., are easier. Also, do you speak Latin? Thanks. This is a very good question. Most definitely, you have languages in similar families. For example, like I'll go with the languages you chose. So Cantonese, Mandarin, Japanese, Korean, those are all East Asian languages. Now, I'll focus on Mandarin Cantonese first. So if I learn Mandarin first, I learn it well, fluently. Once I start learning Cantonese, that much of it won't be hard to pick it up. I mean, I will still have to as usual, I'll still have to put that time and effort in to learn it, but it won't be as difficult as it would um, if I had not learned Mandarin, it will be difficult because I had to get used to the tones, pronunciation. See, once you once you have spent time learning a language with tones and different pronunciation, your brain gets accustomed to that. So when you take on another language in a similar family with similar rules, then it won't be that difficult to pick it up. So definitely, you have those base languages that will help you learn others. Now, will learning Mandarin help me learn Japanese? Um, Not necessarily. It all depends. If you want to talk about writing, the written language, then yes, possibly, because a lot of the characters are basically Chinese. Japanese characters are um, Chinese characters. So if you can read the Chinese characters, then you can already read Japanese. It's just a matter of it's just a matter of being able to read the traditional characters versus the simplified characters. So in that writing aspect, most definitely, um, Mandarin could help me learn Japanese, vice versa. Spoken language, not at all, because they are totally different languages, totally different grammar, totally different pronunciation, and Japanese isn't a tonal language. It does have pitches, but I would say it's easier to pronounce than Mandarin. However, Korean. Now, if I learn Korean first or vice versa, I can learn the other. Korean and Japanese are very, very similar grammatically. They share a lot of vocabulary, and what else? What else? They do. Korean also has the characters, but they don't use them as much as the Japanese and Korean, Japanese and Mandarin, the Japanese and Chinese do. So I would say knowing Korean fluently, understanding the grammar, how it works, it would definitely be a gateway to learning Japanese. Um, I would say Korean pronunciation is far more difficult than Japanese. However, like I said, if you learn that over the other, then you won't have a problem learning the other one. So, yeah, definitely. So and then that's with other languages like Spanish, Portuguese. If you learn Spanish, Portuguese won't be a problem learning. You learn Portuguese, Spanish won't be a problem learning. So, next. Oh, you asked me. No, I don't speak Latin yet. Um, I almost started learning Latin. I can't remember why I changed my mind, but I'm definitely interested in learning it one day. So thanks a lot for your question. Next question. So Johnny Principe, 1 month ago. Hey, in the past you have spoken about what to learn first for Japanese and how some good intermediate to advanced transitioning materials. Since you made those videos so long ago, I'm wondering if your opinions on anything that you said have changed. Um, Definitely. I will definitely say that I've evolved. I learned a lot over the years, so I definitely have some updated information and on learning certain languages. So I'm not going to go into it in this video. However, I promise you that I'll make a video in the future, in the near future, talking about some of this stuff that you mentioned here. So okay, let's see. Next question. What 3 languages do you recommend us to learn and why? What do you look for in a language before you decide to study it? Also, when are you planning on revealing to us that you are Somali? Man, that was so funny. I had to choose this question. I was laughing so hard when I read this. What 3 languages do you recommend us to learn and why? Well, um, now I know a while ago, years ago, I made a video talking about languages being useless because I think it was a response to someone's comment, but I'm gonna look at usefulness. Now I don't bel I believe all language can be useful to a certain extent, but let me go with usefulness first. Now, obviously, you want to learn languages that you can use very often, languages that you won't have a hard time finding native speakers to interact with. That this is very important because if you don't, then you're basically wasting your time. Well, should I say that? Wasting your time? To a certain extent, you're wasting your time because then you're gonna forget the language and you're never going to use it. You won't have any opportunities to use the language. So, um, it is important to be able to find the people unless you're doing it for intellectual reasons. If you're doing it for intellectual reasons, just to, you know, strengthen your brain power, uh, or just, the intellectual reason, you just want to do it because, it's intellectual stimulating for you, then yeah, um, you know, they won't be, the language won't be considered useless. Now, I will go my okay, 3 languages I would choose. I would choose Chinese Mandarin. Yes, Chinese, Spanish, and what would be the third? Arabic. Those 3 languages I would choose. Why? Because there are so many native speakers of those languages. It don't matter where you are. You will be able to find, like, especially with Chinese, all the Chinese restaurants. I mean, I've been through, because I go fishing a lot, and I've been through towns like in remote areas, and you're always able to find a Chinese restaurant. Like, these Chinese people are everywhere. I mean, you have to learn Chinese if you want to if you want to have them opportunities, um, many opportunities to practice the language. You have to learn that language. It's 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 one of the most ideal decisions to make. Chinese Mandarin, hands down. I would even say Cantonese. Cantonese is wide spoken. Cantonese is a very useful language. But I'm gonna go ahead and go with Mandarin. Spanish, we don't even have to talk about Spanish. Spanish, a lot of native speakers, very useful. Um, And then Arabic, again, Arabic is very useful. But see, the thing about Arabic, you have to keep in mind that when you learn this language, you have to you're going to end up choosing a dialect to learn because um, the modern standard Arabic is not really spoken on the streets. It's more formal, and you'll hear it mostly on the television in formal settings, business meetings, in school, university, whatever. Basically a professional setting, formal setting is the only place you will hear modern standard. Maybe you will hear some in some stores or restaurants, but for the most part, that's where you're going to hear the language spoken. So, but definitely, I would say Arabic is up there. Arabic, Chinese, and Spanish for sure. Okay. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to stay focused. My daughter's crying. See, they always do this. When I turn this video on, I even had to, I even had to turn off the video, postpone it because of this. I had to postpone the video because I can't focus. But I'm at the last question, so I'm trying to let's do this. Let's do this. Um, let's say Russian Ivan 1 month ago edited. Okay, so he gave me five choices, and I just went on ahead and chose all of them. Okay, guys, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back here, guys. Sorry about that. So Russian Ivan 1 month ago, he gave me several choices, and you know what? I just went on ahead and chose all five because these were they were very interesting questions. First question: what methods do you employ to memorize new words? Rote learning, everyday repeating, constant listening, or what? So, okay. So basically, um, memorizing new words, rote learn. I would say like definitely everyday repeating. I would say it's a combination: rote learning, everyday repeating, constant listening. Um, repetition is key when it comes to learning these new words. So let okay, I'm gonna just go what I've been doing right now. I'll use Swedish. Okay, so for right now, I'm using like okay, I'm using my FLR level two. That's for the sentences and all that. I'm using I'm using my colloquial. I'm using colloquial Swedish, and I'm using Asimil. And also I'm using some applications called Memorize and what was it? Yeah, Memorize and what's the other application? Man, my Duolingo. Uh, hold on for a second. All right, let's start this over here. Okay, so Russian Ivan 1 month ago, he gave me several he asked me several questions, and he told me to just choose one, but I thought they were very interesting questions, so I'm gonna go ahead and answer all five of them. So his first question was, what methods do you employ to memorize new words? Rote learning, everyday repeating, constant listening, or what? So for me, I do a combination of these: rote learning, everyday repeating. The repetition is what's important when it comes to learning this vocabulary. Um, flashcards or anything along those lines will be very useful for learning the vocabulary. I know I said in the past that I'm not really big on flashcards, but I think that um, if you use those every day along with some other programs, I think it will help with learning the vocabulary. Now I'm gonna just go by. Let me just go with what I've been doing lately for Swedish. So basically, for Swedish, I'm using right now. I'm using FLR level two, which is basically sentences, a lot of repetition, creating sentences. The context. I'm using what else? I'm using a application called Duolingo and another application called Memorize. Those are very good, very very good, especially if you spend um, your time every day. You do them every day. It's a lot. There's a lot of repetition with the vocabulary. Very very good. I highly recommend it. And also I'm using colloquial Swedish and Asimil Swedish, basically sentences, um, dialogues, whatnot. So for me, I try to do repetition every day. So um, using the application of Duolingo and Memorize, and then just creating sentences over and over with the same content, and then trying to practice with native speakers. That's how I acquire my vocabulary. So, like I said, I would do a combination of these: rote learning, everyday repeating, constant listening. I do them all. So, how many maximum of language would you recommend to learn at the same time? Do languages impede one another or help? I would say you guys know I'm for learning as many languages as you can at the same time. But I think ideally, if you want to make fast progress, I would say no more than two different languages. Um, four, anything beyond two is going to be difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's really going to take a lot of time to progress uh, in all four of those languages. Because see, when you learn a language, you need to focus. It requires your full focus and a lot of practice, and it's hard to do that. Um, with four or more languages, it's really difficult. I tried it, trust me. I've been on this language journey for a long time. I've tried several techniques. I tried all these different techniques, and I know how to learn multiple languages at the same time. I'm not saying that I can't, but if you're trying to make fast progress and you want to really learn the language well, you have to put your full focus into the language. It just that's I mean, this is what you got to do. So I would say two languages at one time will be enough. Better yet, just do one for a certain period of time and then switch. So I mean that's what I would recommend. So again, I mean I'm for learning four or five languages at the same time, but it's going to take a lot of time and it's gonna take a lot of time. You're not gonna progress fast because of the focus isn't you can't really have you can't put like equal focus into four different languages. It's really difficult. You maybe do two, and that's even difficult. But I think four or five, four or more is pushing it. It's really difficult. Do languages impede one another or help? I'm assuming you mean that if will it help to learn other languages? I mean, this is probably similar to the last question I read regarding learning the base of a certain language to help you make a transition over into another language in that same family. If so, then yes, it definitely if you it definitely will help you learn another language. Um, Let me see. Okay, question number three. Is it necessary to first get aware of the grammar of a language, or it's better to go straight to text and dialogues and try to comprehend them? You guys know how I feel about this grammar stuff. Grammar, for me, let me just talk about what I do, okay? So when I okay, Swedish. When I first started learning Swedish, I had no grammar, okay? I started with FLR level 1, met with a native speaker. We went through the questions and answers. We created sentences, and there were some basic things that he told me, like basics of the grammar. He told me, but nothing really serious. But for the most part, we just created sentences. He asked me questions, and a lot of stuff just grew on me naturally through the practice and repetition. Then after that, which took about 2, 3 months, I started doing level 2, and we're just basically making sentences and then we have conversation. No grammar yet. Okay. I've been doing Swedish for 6 months. On the 16th of this month will have been uh 7 months. Okay. And still no grammar. I think I looked at some grammar, but I didn't really get put like a lot of time into learning grammar because I got comfortable with the style that I normally use, just natural. I got text, I create sentences, I talk with native speakers, and I learn from them. Whatever I try to mimic them, whatever they saying. You see, I take my notes and I try to use my notes on other native speakers. That's what I do. Um, so I would say just you could do grammar later on. You don't have to do it at the beginning. I know everyone learns differently, but um, it's not necessary to be aware of grammar at first. Maybe some basic grammar having to do with personal pronouns or, just basic stuff like past tense. I would say maybe like past tense, future tense, personal pronoun, like past tense, future tense, present tense, to see how those work. Because once you have an idea, a pretty good idea of how the past tense works, the future tense, and the present tense work, then you're pretty much getting there with the sentence, making good sentences in the language. But other than that, really getting in depth with the grammar, I wouldn't really worry about it. So, how much time in months and years would it take to get at a really good level when you are able to read novels without dictionary, watch TV understanding 95% and more? How many foreign languages do you know at this level? Shoot, that how much time in months and years? Well, this level sounds like native to me. Um, yeah, this sounds like a native level or near native level to me. And I would say it all depends too where you are. If you in a country, may not take that much time. Maybe a couple years, 3 years, maybe I don't know, a couple years, and it also depending on what language it is. Um, yeah, I would say maybe 3 years or something like that, 2 3 years, you can reach this level. But you have to be really focused and you have to be exposed to that language almost every day and interacting with these people. As far as me, I haven't, I can't say that I haven't reached a native level in any of my languages. The highest level I've reached so far is advanced. Okay, so I reached advanced level in like Chinese. So, um, yeah. And if I were to try to read novels and stuff, yeah, I would definitely have to use a dictionary at some point because yeah, that's just so yeah, I can't claim to be on this level in any of my languages. But yeah, I'll be there one day. I'll be there one day. What language are you going to start from zero in the near future, and why this or these languages? In the near future, well, I'm doing Swedish now. From zero. Finnish is the next language I start from zero. So um, let me see the next few languages. So we have Finnish, Nepali, and what was after that? What was from zero? What else did I have any other language? Finnish, Nepali from zero. Yeah, let's just go with it for now. I'm not sure because I plan to go back to improve some other languages after after I study a couple more languages from zero. I'm planning to go back and make some improvements, but that's for another video. Why? I chose Finnish because now I know that as far as leveling up, I'm not going to find many Finns here. I'm unless I go to a university. If I go to a university, then more than likely I'll run into them there. But like how I go to these markets, it's probably gonna be difficult to find them. But I found I have some places on like Hello Talk and some other chat rooms where a lot of Finns hang out at. So I have access to the language um, where I could practice like every day with a lot of people, and that's very important. That's one reason. And then also, I've been hearing a lot about Finnish, how difficult it is. You know, people saying, "Oh, it's so difficult. It's the most difficult European language, or whatever." So I love challenges. So I wanna get into this language. I want to see how difficult it is. Um, what's the other reason? Yeah, pretty much just a challenge, and I have access to native speakers. And hey, I love learning languages. I guess I'll say that was the main reason. I love learning languages. Um, why this? Oh, Nepali. Nepali, we have a large population of the Nepali people here, a lot. And then there's okay, then there's I have access to native speakers online. So yeah. Um, wait a minute. I think oh, I'll go back. I'll go back to Bane's question. I realized I skipped something. Okay. Be happy, take care of you. Greetings from Russia, where a lot of your friends. Okay. All right. So thanks, Ivan, for your questions. Now I got to go back up to Bane's question because he asked me, "What do you look for in a language before you decide to study it?" I didn't answer that. Well, basically, the first thing I look for is the usefulness. Like I look for how. Um, I thought I heard something. Okay, I gotta hurry up and wrap this up. I look for the usefulness of the language. Like how often can I practice the language? How useful is it? Um, will I have many opportunities to practice language? I search around, I search for, restaurants, markets, and see if I can find where a lot of these people hang out at. Even online, chat rooms, forums, that's important because without that, there's no progression in language unless you're just wanting to be able to read the language. I want to communicate, so I need to look for that first. So once I find that and I see that I have a lot of opportunities to practice the language, then I'll go on and get my resources and whatnot, and I'll start getting into the language. But that's what I look for in the language before I study it. Otherwise, you know, how am I gonna make great progress in the language, especially when it comes to communicating, if I don't find the people to interact with. So, all right, that is it. So that is it for I need to go through and edit this video, cut out some scenes, but that's all I have for now. Like I said, I'm going to continue this question series. Next week, I'll make another video and have you guys ask me some other questions. But thanks for viewing. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, you guys have a great one, and talk to you soon.